And here we go, our first live boxing talk of the year on this channel. Welcome to Bwtm Sports Channel, and we're talking boxing. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments on this channel. Glad to see you in the room and watching us. Now, first things first, shout out to Uncle James Ali Bashir, the assistant trainer of Vladimir Klitschko, the former trainer of Alexander Usyk, WBO cruiserweight champion, and current trainer of Ruan Vissa, the South African heavyweight who's sparring with Vladimir Klitschko and is making big moves of his own. So shout out to Uncle Bashir for doing the live, doing the BWTM intro. So shout out to him for that. And also shout out to Bwtm for doing the same thing as well. So that being said, let's kick on. So there's lots to talk about. First of all, let's talk about the news regarding Tyson Fury. Where's my camera gone? Let's talk about Mr. Fury. I think I spoke about Tyson Fury. I've been spoken for Tyson Fury for a while and his various situations. A lot of people are blinded by the fact that for Tyson Fury to come back, there's certain things he needs to do. And one of the things he needs to do is secure his license to box again if he's going to box in the UK. Now, it seems that if Tyson Fury makes an announcement, Fury fans get very excited, as if to say the guy's just going to walk back into the world of boxing and just win the world championship and it's going to be an easy road. I said this from last year, that it's not going to be an easy ride for Tyson to come back, and we're seeing it already. He was meant to have a hearing, and the hearing that he had, or supposedly he was meant to have, is now adjourned until July because it's complex. Well, hold on. It was complex in the beginning. Oh, they must have known it was complex in the beginning for them to wait this long to make a decision. Now they're leaving it out to July. All right, fine if you leave it to July. But all this time, Tyson's got no excuses. Between now and July, he should be able to get his body in the sort of shape necessary. It's 2 months, which is May, June, July. He's got 2 months to get himself into good fighting shape without having to kill himself to get himself into that shape. So he needs to be dedicated in the gym, working out. But there's no guarantee that even in July, when the hearing comes up, that he's going to be able to box. Eventually, Tyson's going to be back in the ring, but eventually when? So Fury fans and those who want to see Tyson back in the ring, they're going to have to wait a little longer. And while Tyson may be saying, yeah, you know, I want to fight Joshua and keep himself in the picture, which is understandable, the realization is Tyson might not be back in the ring till much later in the year. And then that puts us in a position where Tyson needs to get a few warm-up fights before he gets anywhere near Joshua. People say, oh, he could take Joshua as soon as he comes back. Well, no, the guy's been out of the ring almost 2 years now. He's put on a lot of weight. I'd like to see Tyson get himself in shape, get himself take a couple of fights, you know, and then take that Joshua fight. I'm not saying that he can't beat Joshua, but what I'm saying is we allow the Vladimir Klitschko fight. I know Vladimir Klitschko's 41, but the one thing you do when you're sparring, you're not going for the kill. You're not going to knock people out. And I felt one of the reasons why Vladimir lost that fight against Joshua when he dropped Joshua was because he probably was dropping a lot of people in sparring. And over a 1 or 2 year period, you're dropping people in sparring, just sparring, primarily sparring. You're not looking to kill people. You're not looking to knock people out. You're not looking to get people out there. You're not winning any world titles in sparring. So what's happened with Vladimir, in my opinion, is that he's knocked a guy over in sparring, and he's done it countless times because he's a heavy-handed type of guy. And then he's kind of like just carried on sparring. So what he did was repeat that in the fight. You look at round 5 with Joshua engaged Klitschko, and he dropped Joshua. He dropped Klitschko. Klitschko got back up, right? And then the next round, he dropped Joshua, but he didn't finish Joshua off, throwing crazy wide left hooks, and didn't look like he was going to finish Joshua off. And then he allowed Joshua to come back in the fight. And when Joshua got his bearings together, because Joshua has been on consistently going out there, knocking guys out, going to knock people out. That's what he's been doing. And he's been doing that. He's been sparring and fighting, sparring and fighting, sparring and fighting. Whereas Klitschko over the last year or two had been sparring. I think that makes a big difference. So I think you could say 41 years old, but you know, he was 41 years old when he dropped Joshua, and I don't think it was age that was the problem that night. It was the fact of what he was practicing in the gym is what happened in the end for me. So back to the whole Tyson Fury thing, in my opinion, more fun in games in terms of the establishment, and you know, I can see a situation where they say, well, if you're going to fight Joshua, then you've got to fight him in this window period. You've got to fight him in this time. So I don't know what Team Fury have done behind the scenes legally to secure Tyson the best opportunity to for a run at the world title. Is it a case where he has to fight 2 guys? What will be the situation? You know, and who will Joshua be fighting next? You know, that big fight could still fall through the window if, you know, whoever Joshua fights next ends up goes on and beats him. I mean, yes, he beat Klitschko, but he still showed vulnerabilities. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so the story is now also in terms of Joshua that if Klitschko refuses the rematch, then in steps Kubrat Pulev for his mandatory chance. Kubrat Pulev got a good jab, good boxing ability, takes a good shot, and I don't think people disregard Kubrat Pulev based on the Klitschko fight. Please forgive me for my cough. I'm still dealing with the cold stroke flu. But I think we would be very silly to just dismiss Kubrat Pulev as a quality fighter, because he is. I think it's a good fight for Joshua. I think it's a very good fight. No more backward steps now. So Kubrat Pulev up next. I think Kubrat Pulev refused to fight Joshua back then, possibly because he wanted to be A, mandatory, and B, in a position where maybe contractually it suits him more. And then if he were to beat Joshua, he wouldn't have options with Matchroom. Maybe that's the reason why Pulev wasn't interested in being a voluntary defense for Joshua, and now probably a mandatory defense. I don't think it had anything to do with Kubrat Pulev being scared. I think it was to do with contracts and what suits him better. So we may well see Kubrat Pulev versus Joshua. But yeah, if I were Klitschko, I would go for the immediate rematch, because yes, he got beaten up in the end, but you know, he had Joshua on the back foot. When Joshua was on the back foot, Joshua was unable to do anything about it. It was only when Klitschko allowed Joshua to get onto the front foot was Joshua able to be effective. So if I were Klitschko, jump for the immediate rematch. Why not? I mean, you were 10 seconds away, realistically, you were 10 seconds away from becoming world heavyweight champion. 10 seconds. And that's what people will say. Look, if you're going to give it another shot, give it another shot, and then retire from it. A rematch, you get paid a hell of a lot more money. But, you know, this time when you get into camp, maybe take a second look at who you got in your corner training you. Jonathan Banks, again, has gone missing as a trainer. Why are you not using James Elibashir as your trainer? I don't get it. It's a mysterious question. Why is he not using James Elibashir in the corner? It's like, you know, you're a Premiership team, football team, and your best striker is, I don't know, Diego Costa, and you want to keep using the reserve striker all the time. It's as simple as that. Or like having a basketball side and having Kobe Bryant sitting on the bench. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, It's one of the most strangest things that happen in the world of boxing. It makes sense. So shout to Barky BS says, look, champ, you, me, or nobody here hits harder than life. I agree. Catherine Watkins, mwah. Hope you're well, Catherine. Good to see you in the room. Look, I just don't get this UKAD thing. It's been going on for so long. There's a lot of things I don't get, but the one thing I do get, and the one thing I do understand, is that Tyson Fury is not going to get the red carpet rolled out on him. Understand, it's not happening. It's not happening. And whoever he's upset behind the scenes, it's not happening. And they're going to make this as difficult as possible. I don't know if behind the scenes they're taking money out of the Furies and trying to drain the Furies of money. I don't know if that's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if there's more to this case than meets the eye. I don't know what it is. What I do know is that everything is not as cut and dried as it seems to be. And everything hasn't seemed to be cut and dried with Team Fury for a while. From why Tyson isn't in boxing. Was it because of cocaine, or was it because of cocaine? Was it because of mental illness? Is he depressed? Is he bipolar? And if these are the cases, then if he's bipolar, is he going to get treated for it? Is it going to affect his performances in the ring? Is his medical condition more than has been let on? Is he addicted to cocaine? Did he ever take cocaine? Is this a royal stitch up? Don't know. Don't know. Really don't understand what's going on here. But I would have thought, and it's me speaking, you know, you've got a date. Can Tyson Fury sue UKAD for loss of earnings? Because I'd be saying to myself, hold on, I'm training here. I've got dates in place. Okay, so if you're going to ban me for 2 years, if you ban me for 2 years, well, okay, then maybe the ban will go back from when I first gave up my belts up till now, or you know, so it's retrospective as opposed to retrospective meaning the ban is from all the time he's been out of the ring so far. They say, okay, fine, we'll ban you from that time. That's how long the ban will last. Or is it going to be progressive, meaning, well, from this point on, we'll ban you for 2 years? So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I certainly know one thing: the way to speed this process up is to sue UKAD. So you know what? Loss of earnings. I'm meant to be coming back in July. You guys have got to get yourself sorted and sue UKAD. That's why if it were me, I'd be suing UKAD for loss of earnings. But we don't know legally what it's all about. So people are just, you know, nobody knows really apart from the Furies themselves. But the one thing I know, Tyson is his own man, and that's a good thing. But that's also a bad thing. A good thing because, you know, you're an independent. You're a man of your own free thinking. But sometimes free thinkers need people to kind of keep them in check. And then look at the geniuses we've had. Well, not in just the sport of boxing, in the sport of football. You had George Best. You've had Gaza. These are guys that are great, brilliant strokes of brilliance. Brilliant, on top, fantastic, but they have massive mood swings and depressive elements to themselves. And not only that, you've got to remember these depressive mood swing bouts of Tyson has been around way before he was champion. I remember him, I think it was before the Kevin Johnson fight, talking about him involved in sort of depressive issues and stuff like that. Was he on medication back then to deal with those issues? And then the abuse. All these people calling out for Tyson now. I'd like to know, all these people who are looking for Tyson's comeback, all those people who were abusing him when he was champion, I'd like to know now, and abusing his family, where they are across Twitter. I really would like to know if the same people that have been abusing Tyson are the same people now clapping his back and loving him up. Because that's the sort of sport boxing is, sort of people you've got in the sport of boxing. Very two-faced, very slimy, very snake-like characters. You know, so I don't know. Tyson was getting royally abused. And I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm not saying, you know, I think there's cause and effect. I think that when you say things, you know, you're going to get something back. And I think that that doesn't condone, or that doesn't mean that somebody should be treated discriminatory based on speaking out on truth. Okay, he spoke his truth. He spoke what he thought, and he never said he was a role model. And I had this debate the other day with somebody who I slammed, and I said, "You talk about role models. You're a Mike Tyson fan," and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm a Mike Tyson fan." I said, "Okay, yeah." And you're slamming Tyson Fury for not being a role model. But Mike Tyson's fine. It's okay, Tyson biting people's ear live, or Tyson going to jail for what he did. Whether he did it or not, he still had that criminal record, swearing live on television, telling people to F themselves on live on television. Okay, but Mike Tyson's worshipped. So you're going to call him a role model. So I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't know what to say. A lot of garbage. A lot of garbage in the sport of boxing. A lot of rubbish. And I can tell you right now, that I wonder if they're going to strip Anthony Joshua of the IBF title. I wonder if they're going to strip him, because the IBF stripped Tyson for defending his belt against Klitschko, the #1 contender, in an immediate rematch. IBF stripped him 2 weeks of getting the title. Now, if Joshua decides to defend his title against Klitschko and not fight the other guy, which is Pulev, well, let's strip him of the IBF. And if not, why not? Why did the IBF strip Tyson and not strip Joshua in his first defense? This is a question that needs to be asked. Why did they strip him of the IBF? I remember talking to Tyson, and that was on the other channel. And I said to him, well, you know, I paid 500,000 on sanctioning fees. 500,000. $500,000 on sanctioning fees. Okay? And he didn't get that money back from the IBF, according to Tyson. So it all don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense whatsoever to me. There's a lot of fishing. I said it. In fact, everything I've said has come true. I said to Team Fury way back when, I said, vacate those titles, get shot of all those titles, keep the Ring magazine. I got absolutely abused by all the know-it-alls over Twitter and Facebook. Oh, you're talking rubbish. He should I said, keep the Ring magazine belt. Get rid of all those belts. They're useless. Get rid of all them belts and go on. You're numero uno. You beat #1 in the division. Make a present. Be the #1 guy. Be different. Oh, I'm the Muhammad Ali of boxing. All right. Well, if you're the Muhammad Ali of boxing, then you can get the kind of crap that Ali had to take on and deal with. Ali doesn't have a big mouth, and I am the greatest. There's a lot of stuff Ali had to deal with politically outside the ring. I don't have to educate you about. So, you know, it was quite used to Ali. I'm the Ali, but all the crap Ali had to deal with. There's not many men today that will deal with the crap that Ali dealt with. That's what made him the greatest. So, it was some decisions that need to be made. Yeah, they vacated the belts because they were in a position where they had to be forced to be giving the belts away in the end. So, you know, I think if you got rid of those belts, kept the Ring magazine belt, a lot of people didn't want Tyson to be champion. But make it be clear, right? That was not the script for Tyson to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Klitschko was meant to defend his title, and that was that. Okay, that was that. I heard different stories saying, oh well, Klitschko lost the first fight, but it would have been even more money the second fight round. There were stories about, you know, whether Tyson really wanted to have that rematch. There was also things I felt around being around Tyson, and this is a personal opinion now. Being around the short time I was around Tyson up close and interview him, I got the impression that even though Tyson was champion, he wasn't his own man, because he was I think in the contract he had to go back and face Klitschko. So even though Tyson was the champion by beating Klitschko, he wasn't the champion in the sense that he was able to go and do his thing. He couldn't say, you know what, I'm the champion, and in my first defense I want to go and fight Deontay Wilder. No, in your first defense you got to go and fight Klitschko again. So right there at that point, I don't know if Tyson was so suffocated because he's his own man and a free thinker. Suddenly, you no longer can be a free thinker, because you have to defend against Klitschko, and you will do as Klitschko says until you beat Klitschko again. Okay. So I think even though Tyson had the belts, Klitschko still had a hold on the heavyweight division, more than I think people were aware of. And I think maybe that set Mr. Tyson off the edge. I don't know. And I've seen videos of Tyson. Well, he said he's never taken any sort of substances, but I've seen him slurring his words, and he's been drinking, had some drinks. So I don't know. But and if it's true, what I've also heard rumored to have said that he never did take the cocaine, he just said it to go along with it, then I don't know. It's a shame about Tyson, it really is. But will he ever be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? After speaking to Bwtm, he says if he really has been on the old cocaine, then people who are like this and they get on the cocaine, no matter how much you do to try and get themselves back on it, they're never the same fight again. And if he has been on cocaine and he has been doing the cocaine, then we're going to see how much of that has eroded his skills. How much does he still want to be world heavyweight champion? And is he just motivated by the fact that Joshua's getting the limelight now, and he feels kind of like disrespected, that he feels he has to man up and keep the Fury name good, that he has to come back and put the Fury name right? Is that it? What is his motivation for coming back? I'd be fascinated to know why he wants to come back, because this is the same man that told and said, I'll retire early. And he said it himself. He's fed up of the press, and he's fed up of the media, and he's fed up of boxing, and he wants to get himself a caravan and be in a caravan and have a little cattle and go back to the olden times. This is something he said. Now he's talking about, oh, yo, and I'm going to be a world heavyweight champion. And when the next minute he said he wants to be a journalist. So I don't know. It's too unstable for me. Tyson's not a character of to me at the moment, of stability. There's too much going on. There's too many unknowns. And until I hear got his license back, this is the date, this is when he's fighting, who, what, where, when, how. That's all I want to hear. Who are you fighting? When you're fighting? What time you're fighting? Yeah, those are the important things for me now with Tyson. I don't hear anything else. I don't hear about what he does, if he's climbing over a bench, if he's singing along with Billy Joe Saunders, if he's deciding to have a rap career. I'm not interested. All I want to know about is Tyson coming back to the ring, when he fights, when he's fighting, and then that's all I want to hear about. And all the rest of the antics to get on with it and what Tyson says, I really don't. I take with a pinch of salt. Once I hear him and Warren say this, well, you can't, once I see Tyson making that ring watering, yes, it's on, he's back in the ring, and then we can judge from his performances really where he is in the heavyweight division. At his best, from the Klitschko fight 2 years ago, yeah, he surely looks talent-wise and skill-wise the best heavyweight on the planet, skill-wise, based on what he did against Klitschko. But that's 2 years ago, and the cocaine thing came out, and he's gone up to 300-something pounds, and we don't know what he's been doing outside the ring since then. That may have turned his head. So I don't know. That's as far as I can put that. Ukad's disgrace. Why is it taking so long? I don't know how he was ever allowed to book the Klitschko fight after the positive test. Okay. Damn right, says Marky Bier. He gets a lot of hate still, though. He does. Because the second failed test was inconclusive, as the second sample came back clear. Okay. As far as I'm aware, if the second sample comes back clean, then you're clean. B sample was negative. Evening all. They won't strip him. Hearn will put AJ in with Pulev if Vlad don't take him. That's true. Joke, they stripped him of the IBF. He was contracted mandated to fight Vlad. IBF are too strict for their own good. Jordan Anderson says, we all know if Vladimir won, then he would still have the IBF belt, even if there was a rematch. Catherine says, of course, he actually didn't have to do what he was told in the end. He didn't ever fight the rematch. Try and get an interview with Tyson. Tyson versus Fury versus Kojak. It'll be a good rematch. I think a good fight for Tyson to come back on. Is Tyson back training with Peter? That's an interesting one. I don't know. I can certainly try and find out. Do something Parker couldn't do. Stop Kojay. Should be easy. I'll believe you only when he steps back in the actual ring. That's my point, Catherine. We can only talk about when he's back in the ring. There are a lot of Fury fans. I call them Fury fanatics. Fury fanatics. There's a difference between there's a reality and then there's something else. They're both talented fighters and they have a very good coach. But there's this realm of I call fantasy where Fury fanatics, not fans, fanatics seem to jump over the fact that Tyson's overweight, seem to jump over the fact that he's got a court case, the Ukad case to deal with, seem to jump over the case that he had to discriminate. Why is he not going to MBE? Why has he never been to the Palace? These things that he seems to jump over and say, oh, well, all that's going to happen is Tyson says he's going to come back, and he's just going to come back, and he'll get straight to fight against Anthony Joshua, and then he'll be world heavyweight champion, and it'll be like that. Well, this is the way that some Fury fanatics think. And I'm sorry to break your bubble. It's not going to happen that way. It's more likely going to happen that eventually he'll get his license back. And then if he does if he is offered the Joshua fight, for God's sake, I don't want to hear he makes a comeback, fight somebody who we don't know about, gets this event, and then the next fight is, he goes, oh, Joshua, you bum, I want you. And the next fight we've got Anthony. I just don't want to see that. I've said it before. I don't want to see that. I want to see Tyson get 3 or 4 fights and say mid to end of 2018, then get a Joshua fight. Hopefully by then Joshua's still unbeaten, Tyson still unbeaten. Both guys are in real good shape. Tyson's had all the cobwebs out of the way. He's got his confidence. He's switching full foot to southpaw. He's taking a good shot. He's been 10 hard rounds. He's been 12 hard rounds, and then he's ready to fight Joshua. Because if he comes back like he did sloppy against Joey Abel, then I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that, you know. So I think Fury is doing weight cutting in Marbella, and he's likely start full time with Peter with either a fight on the horizon or it's been announced. Joshua would be around 22-0 at that time of the fight. So yeah, and Joshua will get better. He will get better. Chin won't get any better. I don't think Chin will get any better. He'll always be a muscular guy, and he'll never be the fastest guy on his feet. So there's some things about Joshua that will never improve. There's some things you just genetically you cannot improve or change. And style, he's never going to be a fancy Dan. He is what he is. So in terms of that, you know, there's only so much Joshua can do as a fighter. There's more flexibility with somebody like a Fury who can box orthodox southpaw, box off the front foot, box off the back foot. You've seen him box it up close. So, you know, Joshua isn't fast, but he isn't slow. Well, I wasn't talking about fast or slow. I was just saying there's some things. He's slow. He's slow in comparison to somebody like maybe Joseph Parker or maybe a Fury in terms of the way they move around the ring, or even a Klitschko, the footwork, way they move around the ring. You know, not so much Parker, but more so Klitschko and the Fury. Both guys have got very good footwork. That's what I mean by slow. The way he moves around the ring, Joshua's more of a plodder. Right. So enough of that heavyweight talk, or is it? Let me check and see. Is there anything else on the heavyweight side of things? I did hear a rumor, another rumor I heard that that Joseph Parker, Hugh Few will be in Manchester, and it seemed to me at the end of the Parker fight, they talked about his trainer Kevin Barry talked about them going on the road. So I think they've admitted now that they've got to get out of New Zealand and they're going to have to take the Fury fight in the UK. There should be no excuses then. There should be no excuses why this fight doesn't happen in the UK. But by the time that fight has happened, again, Hughie wouldn't have fought for a long time. I think timing is everything. I know Peter said that he's going to put an extra stone of muscle and he'll be bigger and stronger. But again, seeing is believing. Josie Parker's last performance wasn't very good. But we'll see how it all goes. Still think Huey beats Parker. Well, again, we have to wait and see. We have to see how Huey deals with pressure, how he deals with somebody attacking him, somebody who literally wants to rip his head off. We haven't seen him in the ring with somebody like that yet. The last time anyone came kind of close to that was Fred Cassie, and I don't have to remind you how that fight was. And if you go and listen to my interview with Peter, it's not something I'm speaking behind Peter's back. It's something I asked him. Listen, the Fred Cassie fight was a long time ago, but that's the last fight that Huey's got to go off. What is going to happen now? So we'll have to see. Parker is overrated, but we'll have to wait and see how that fight goes. Again, you say Parker's overrated, but he has been in there with guys who've hit him back. He has fought guys like Takam. He's fought guys like Andy Ruiz. He's fought guys that will throw punches back, and they're not just going to stand there and let them hit him. So, and he got taking guys who can take good shots and fire back. So, you know, Huey, with all due respect, hasn't fought too many guys like that. Rudenko was one who he just kept hitting for 10 rounds, was fine. And Rudenko, having said that, was the guy that beat that I thought beat Lucas Brown. So we'll see. A lot of people say Parker's overrated, but Parker's fought better opposition than Huey Fury. That's a fact. So why you're calling Parker overrated? He still fought better opposition than Huey Fury by a landslide. I mean, you know, Ruiz, Rudenko, not Ruiz, Rudenko, Ruiz, Takam. I mean, I'd like to see how Huey Fury would do against someone like Takam. If Huey beats Parker, I'd love to see him take on Luis Ortiz. It doesn't make business sense, but it's a fight I've always thought about. Interesting. Well, what? Luis Ortiz at 44 or 45 years old. Well, I don't know how much longer he's got. And in the news, of course, Luis Ortiz talking about suing Joshua. Where does he fit in the mix? Where does Luis Ortiz fit in this mix now? There's Pulev. Where's Luis Ortiz fit? He doesn't fit in the WBA. Unless Shannon Briggs and him for the fight next. That's another thing. Shannon Briggs and Fraser Quendo, they're fighting for the WBA regular strap. So, Anthony Joshua is the super champion, as he won the other day. Be interested to see how whether Shannon Briggs Joshua fight needs to happen, because remember that WBA thing they had where the regular champion had to fight the super champion, Danny Jacobs and Golovkin. So is there a possibility that Shannon Briggs would face Anthony Joshua? Somebody talk to me. Is that possible? Would it happen? Can it happen? Does it make sense? I don't know. It looks to me that Shannon Briggs will beat Fraser Quendo. I would have thought. You know, so Ortiz is mandatory for the Super WA. We'll see how that works out. Fraser Quendo Briggs combined ages 89 years old for a world title. What a joke. Well, it's a joke, but Shannon Briggs will be considered heavyweight champion in history. So for that point, I was there when George Foreman, I wasn't there live, but I was there when George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore. I told everybody he's going to knock Michael Moore out tonight. And he'd done it. Foreman picked Moore as a beautiful opponent. He knew that Moore wasn't even going to be able to knock him out. And he knew eventually he was going to catch Moore up with his suspect chin with one of them right hands. One of the biggest punches in heavyweight history versus a guy who's goes down very easily by guys who are lesser punchers than George Foreman. It was the probability of Foreman landing that right hand on Moore's chin was 2-1 on that Foreman was going to land, and I, for my opinion, knocked Moore out, which he did. If Briggs does it, then he would be the oldest heavyweight champion in history. And for Shannon Briggs, for me, I'm not too worried about, yes, Fraser Quendo's a poor opponent, but the fact that Shannon Briggs has come back from where he was to where he is to get a world title shot, you know, that's a great thing. Dave Allen, yes, David Allen, the White Rhino. I had the honor and the pleasure of meeting the White Rhino after covering him for 4 years. We came face to face. I went to his house, saw Dave Allen and met him. We went out for a meal together, accompanied by Mr. Russell Hartley. Dave Allen is a wonderful guy. We talked about a lot of things about boxing and just life, and you know, it was just like to describe Dave Allen off camera would be like Dave Allen would be like be that guy that you get up to a lot of mischief with. I don't mean mischief meaning you know, anything criminal. I mean, you know, you get up to, you know, I'm no longer a single man, but I can imagine if myself and Dave Allen were walking the streets of, I don't know, London or something, we'd be causing havoc to the women in the streets, meaning, you know, we'd probably be chasing women all over the place. But that sort of thing I'm talking about, get up to mischief, you know, boys mischief, you know, that's the sort of thing I could see with someone like Dave Allen and myself, you know, good guy, to a guy, you know, you go to a club with or a bar with, or you go, you know, he's got your back, real loyal, good guy. So it was good, and he's a natural laugh a moment. I could only wish him the very best in what he does. I said to him to his face, I said, Dave, for goodness sake, move your head. Move your head, boy. Don't, because you've got a good chin, doesn't mean you have to take shots on it. Goodness sake, just move your head, static, just kind of move your head. Just move your head. You don't let people just hit you with a jab all night and walking forward and hit with a jab. Move your head, boy. So yeah, it's fun talking to him. He's a great lad, and we'll definitely have him back in the channel soon. He's fighting a guy called Glenroy Thomas. Glenroy from Jamaica, I think he is. Glenroy. So all I understand of Glenroy, they don't see much videotape of him. In fact, there's no videotape on YouTube of him. What I know is that Glenroy Thomas has got a beautiful left jab. It's a great opportunity for Dave Allen, because think this out a second. Should he beat Glenroy Thomas, his next fight in line could be for the British title against Cornish and Sam Sexton. And I believe Dave Allen can beat Cornish and Sam Sexton. So you think about it. Allen could end up being British and Commonwealth champion in 2 fights. 2 fights. Dave Allen, British and Commonwealth champion. You wouldn't have thought it. Dillian Whyte's moved on to World Honours. And I'm happy for Dave. I said to his face, I told him to his face, I said, listen, son, I love you, man, as a brother. But at the end of the day, the problem I had with you is you went and took the Lewis Ortiz fight. Explain why I took the Lewis Ortiz fight. What? Sexton's pulled out against Cornish? Oh, no, 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 no. Well, they invite Derek Chisora there. Well, that's not good. Derek Chisora should Derek Chisora versus Cornish then for the British title. Why not? Why not? Allen is one of the nicest guys in boxing, interacts with his fans, never ducks anyone, and gives value for money and inspiration for others who are fighting depression. Yeah, he is. I mean, we were following Dave Allen, you know, way before the whole Sky thing and Matchroom, and we covered him. We covered his fights, his up and downs. He just kept it real on the channel. We had him live. At one point, we had him and what's his name, Jason Gavin. So him and Jason Gavin were on the same show together, and would you believe, not less than a year later, Gavin and him are fighting. Yeah, so. Oh yeah, Chisora's got Helenius, isn't he? Damn. So yeah, Lewison versus Cornish. Yeah, Lewison should knock Cornish out. To be honest, Lewison knock Cornish out in a couple of rounds. He'll destroy him. I think Lewison's a good fighter. If Lewison gets in shape, he's got so much talent. That boy, really talented. On talent, Lewison should be in the top 10, but on dedication, he ain't in the top 100, and that's the problem. You know, guys have got talent. Cornish is a top of lard, so I would love to see Lewison fight. Okay, so Dave Allen, wishing you the best for the Commonwealth title. Move your head, boy. Move your head. Moving on. Josh Warrington got a previous fight against Kiko Martinez. I'll put it out there. No disrespect to any fighter that gets in the ring, but if you ask my personal opinion, I don't rate Josh Warrington. I really don't. Kiko Martinez has fought, as we know, Carl Frampton twice, and he fought Scott Quigg. The Quigg performance was amazing. The Quigg performance was amazing against Kiko Martinez. I mean, that was the best I've seen Scott Quigg look. And then his fight against Frampton, obviously Frampton stopped him in one fight and went to points in the second fight. Now, Josh Warrington, first of all, is not a puncher. He is powder puff puncher. I think he's got percentage of 24% knockout ratio, and he's going to fight Kiko Martinez, who actually can punch. I'm not a Warrington fan. I think Warrington is very, very overrated. Walks in straight lines. He just doesn't punch hard at all. I don't think he's ever going to be world class. I'm sorry. And if Kiko Martinez was to knock out Josh Warrington, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't, because I don't rate. First of all, I don't think Warrington's got. It depends how much Kiko Martinez has got left. But if Kiko Martinez has got anything remotely like, at least with Quigg and Frampton, those are two guys who are noted punchers. These are two guys who are noted punchers, but I don't. And then Warrington's talk about him beating Lee Selby, but he can't punch, so I don't see how he's going to keep. I don't see how he's going to stop Lee Selby. Lee Selby punches hard enough to stop someone like Warrington. Warrington is British level. I mean, I don't know how he did what he's done. He's done well with the skills he's got, but to me, I just still see him as he's not world class. He's unbeaten, yes, but who's Josh Warrington really fought? And I think for me, if Kiko Martinez has got anything left, he knocks Warrington out. But modern broadcast says Kiko is shot to shit. Is he? If he is, then fine. But then, even if he's shot to shit, can Warrington knock him out? I don't know. Do you think Warrington was a puncher modern broadcast? But I'm not a Warrington fan. He can't punch. And respect to him being a boxer and all that, but he's not my cup of tea. He's not my cup of tea at all. I'm not saying guys that can't punch up my cup of tea, but there's not much skill with it. I watch Warrington and just, a lot of hooligans. Not let me rephrase that. He's got a lot of fans that cause a lot of trouble wherever he goes. I'm not a fan of Warrington, to be honest. I'm really not. I don't see anything interesting. There's nothing that gravitates to the guy. But good luck to him. If he beats Kiko Martinez, fantastic. It's another name on his record. But Warrington punches a pillar and he doesn't even sink in. Yeah, so it's not a slag off Josh Warrington. He's unbeaten. He's a boxer. He's professional fighter. He's done well to this point. He's transferred from Eddie Hearn to Frank Warren. So good luck to Josh Warrington. But I'm sorry. Yeah, imagine Selby versus Warrington. He put 7 and 8 punch combination together as Warrington walks back in straight lines. Yeah, moves forward in straight lines, moves back in straight lines, and Lee Selby pulls back with his chin back in the air. I've said it already 1,000 times about Lee Selby. It's only a matter of time besides somebody catching him with a left or knocks Lee Selby out. Only a matter of time. But he's definitely better. Warrington went from British, Commonwealth, European champion, but at least he's only. Oh, of course. I'm not knocking what he's done in terms of how he's done it. British, Commonwealth, European champion. You would think the next thing for him would be world championship. But that lack of punching power at the highest level, and really he hasn't fought at the highest level yet, it's going to let him down eventually. I just can't see him winning a world title. Not when Frampton, Quigg, God, can you imagine him fighting Gary Russell Jr. or Leo Santa Cruz? I mean, come on. Leo Santa Cruz will walk straight through him and keep walking. I just, off topic. Are TMT taking Liam Walsh lightly by not coming over until this week? Well, Liam Walsh, a fighter I've got a lot of time. I think blow my nose. Sorry. Blow my nose. It's disgusting. I blow my nose. You don't see me blow my nose. Josh Warrington. What are things to talk about on my channel later? Josh flipping Warrington. Yeah. Sorry. Right. Back. Josh Warrington beat world-class Brandon Monroe when he was shot to shit. Where was I now? Yeah. Liam Walsh is somebody who I think has got. I'm very careful when I use the word world-class. I'm going to say Liam Walsh has got world-class potential. I think Liam Walsh, for me, highly underrated, very skilled fighter, orthodox southpaw, in, out, side to side. He's one of the most complete British fighters in British boxing. at the moment. Problem Liam Walsh, inactivity and injuries. I remember when he fought Scott Harrison. Good performance from him that night. Very overlooked. Yeah, he hasn't looked, great in certain fights, but he's a guy that will rise to the occasion. Biggest thing for me is if he can take the power of Gervonta Davis, then I think he can expose Gervonta Davis. Because I don't think if Gervonta Davis wasn't with TMT and Floyd Mayweather, nobody cared about Gervonta Davis. Honestly, I don't think Gervonta Davis is that great. I don't. I think he's a good fighter that's being carried by Floyd Mayweather's name. So it's a good fight for Gervonta Davis, but they need to be very careful of Liam Walsh. He's an experienced fighter, and he'll use every trick in the book to mess around Gervonta Davis. Fight gets into the second half of the fight. If Davis can if Walsh can get this fight into the second half of this fight, it'll be a very interesting fight. Gervonta Davis may be surprised at the punching power of Liam Walsh. I'm not saying Liam Walsh is Superman. I'm not saying Liam Walsh obviously would be the underdog coming into the fight based on how much people know about Liam Walsh from the States. But I would say that Liam Walsh is a live dog in this fight for sure. Valdez versus Selby would be good, quite possibly. Russell versus Frampton, yeah, that's a fight to me. I agree. I always want to see Liam Walsh versus Stephen Smith. See who the best British super featherweight in Britain is. Liam Walsh beats Stephen Smith, I think. What do you think? Who wins between Tyron Nurse versus Jack Catterall? Confirmed for July 15th. That's my birthday. I want to see Joe. Damn it! I want to see Tyron Nurse out of British title contention. Or when is this guy going to fight for world title? When's he going to fight for European title? Sick and tired of seeing Tyron Nurse fighting at British level. Coping Down says Tank looks too small, both in height and reach. Too much to go much further. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Another interesting story to tell you all. This is an embarrassing story, but you're going to hear it from me. So listen carefully. I was walking through Tesco's. It was the week of the Joshua fight. So walking through Tesco's, as you do, in the evening around 8 o'clock. And looking to get a bite to eat, get some food, as you do. And when you go to Tesco's, usually that's what you do. It's around 8:30. I saw a guy. I said, I recognise that guy, and I sort of kept seeing this guy. I saw he had his hand bandaged up and thinking, who's that guy? No, I didn't see Joe Gallagher at Tesco's. He doesn't want to bump into me in Tesco's. And this is the one time I didn't have my camera with me, believe it or not. And guess what? I'm looking at this guy. And then another guy pulls on, he walks up. You know, you've got the aisles, and guy walks across the aisle. So this guy walks right in front of me like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. The next minute, I go to him, and we end up being on the same aisle together. Like this happens. You know, you got the aisle. I'm here this aisle, and this happens. I'm walking, and we bump into one another. I turn around, and he's with 5, 6 guys with him. So I'm looking at the first guy. I said, "Oi, I know you." Guess what I did? I interviewed Kid Galahad, right? And I thought Kid Galahad was Kal Yafi. Well, my mind was elsewhere anyway. So I said, I've interviewed you. Well, yeah. I interviewed Kid Galahad. I didn't interview Kal Yafi. And Kal Yafi kind of looked and said, He went, okay. And all the other guys are standing. Looked up. Clicked. It was Fraser Clark. So there's Fraser Clark. There's Kal Yafi. I can never pronounce the guy, the light heavyweight. I did well at the Olympics. Bwtm. He did well. Big puncher, light heavyweight. So it basically was the GB team. Fraser Clark with Kal Yafi, Kal Yafi's brother, and the light heavyweight. And they'll say, oh, cool, man, cool. They all start talking and chatting the lingo. And I go in there. And I I blagged my way through, and then I got a photograph with them all. And I asked Fraser Clark straight out, did you chin Joshua in sparring? He says, sparring is sparring. He's looked at me and he like kind of, yeah, he's obviously taught a lot taller than me. And sparring, sparring. I said, so did you chin him? I looked straight in the eye. He went, sparring, sparring. What happens in sparring happens in sparring. I said, well, you've answered my question then. So that's it. That's it. Bwtm. I can't pronounce his name. Please spell it out for me. But yeah, I saw him. Yeah, but I saw him as well. Really nice guys. No egos. No, you know, there's no egos whatsoever with them. Really, really, really nice guys. Really, I mean, like really, really nice guys. I don't know how to say it, like just really nice guys. No egos about them, and they could have had egos. They all had the GB tops on, and my nose is going in. They all had GB tops on. They're really nice guys, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, and they even forgave me for not knowing their Bwtm. Bwtm. That's it. Bwtm. That's it. Thank you very much, Bwtm. My apologies, Mr. Bwtm, for not saying your name right. That really is not the hall of somebody who is a so-called journalist. So Bwtm was the guy. He was there, and the DFI brothers and Fraser Clark. So what were they buying? Fraser Clark had his hand real bandaged up, like he'd been punching bricks, and he wrapped his hand up. Because when I shook his hands, all I could feel was the tape between his bandages, and they were thick, proper thick. I think Fraser Clark had a bottle of water, not much. They were just kind of walking around Tesco. So I don't know if they're walking around to walk grass or what. I don't know. They were there. So yeah. Now they weren't buying nothing much. I was buying more than them. So I think I kind of went in because, you know, when you kind of shut down. I knew the week was Sam Sheedy was fighting. I knew Joshua was fighting. And it was just a moment where I just shut down completely. I didn't want to think about sport or boxing or anything because it was hyper week as it was. I shut down. So when I'd see these guys, I didn't know who the hell they were, and I was just dribbling on like a fan. But I got through in the end, and I got the photograph. And if you look on my Facebook page, no, if you look on my Twitter page, it's there. But I'll probably post it again for you guys to see afterwards. So good lads. Right, next thing. Kal Yafi, his fight coming up. He's fighting tomorrow night. Kal Yafi against a guy called Suguru Muranaka. Well, first of all, he's not English. He's from Japan. He's got a 29% knockout ratio, 5'4", super flyweight, of course, and Kal Yafi, or Khalid Yafi, as it is in BoxRec. I thought he was from Sheffield. He's actually from Birmingham. Shout out to Birmingham. So Cal, if you're watching this, shout out to you, my friend. It was good to see you, and look to catch up with you again soon. The first thing we've got to mention about our challenger from Japan, he's lost 2 fights, never been knocked out, which is good to hear. He might have a first when he fights Kal Yafi. And if you look through our friend's resume, Mr. Muranaka, he's had 25 fights. He's lost 2 and drawn 1 with 8 KOs. So he's not a puncher, and he's had a good string of wins. He's only lost 2 fights. But if you look at his record, all his fights are in Japan. I mean, the guy he had a debut was 2-5-3. Then he fought his next fight was 1-1-1. Then he fought a guy was 5-2-0. Then he fought a guy was 3-3-0. I mean, 3 fights, 3 losses. Then he fought a guy was 4-4. Then a 5-1. We fought the first unbeaten guy. And a lot of these fights are majority decisions, unanimous decisions. Well, I mean, if this earns you a world title shot, last guy he fought 24 fights, 15 losses and 1 knockout or something like that. He looks like 1 draw. 19 fights, 3 defeats, 80 and 1 draw. The guy before that had 10 wins, 18 losses and 1. So Mr. Muranaka comes to fight Kal Yafi. Don't ask me how the hell he's got a world title shot, but he needs to get blitzed out there. Kal Yafi needs to blitz him out of there in a couple of rounds. He needs to get him out of there. He needs to get him. He needs to chin this guy out quickly. Yeah. I've got nothing bad to say about the Yafi brothers. Not sure why the third Yafi brother hasn't turned pro yet. Charlie Edwards. Oh, dear. Right. Another fight that I've got no time in watching whatsoever. Lee Haskins versus Ryan Burnett. I think that guy's terrible. I really don't rate him. He's overrated, and I hope Lee Haskins beat him. I really think that guy's so overrated. It's unbelievable. So overrated. So overrated. He's trained by Adam Booth. That's it. He's overrated. But we'll see. If he beats Lee Haskins, then he beats Lee Haskins. Is Joe Joyce not going pro? He's like 32 now. Well, let's hope so. I don't know. We'll see. Catherine Watkins says, AJ Boxers, I just found out about the channel move. Good, great. Well, hit the subscribe button so that you know it's going to be here all the time. Yafi will stop him late, in my opinion. Well, Yafi should stop him in the first five. I would like to see Yafi do it. Hi, AZ Boxing. Catherine Watkins, if I walk through Waitrose, am I likely to bump into you? That's the question. Yeah, Ryan Burnett, no, sorry, absolutely not. No. Let's see if there's other news to talk about as well for you. Let's see if I can get you some other news to talk about to stir up some conversation. As we confirmed exclusively only a few days ago, Bermain Stavern confirming that terms are agreed for the Deontay Wilder versus Bermain Stavern rematch. I want to talk about this just for a second. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I still want to talk about it. Let's open a conversation up. I know there are a lot of people who are really upset that this fight is going ahead, but yeah. Bermain Stavern, Stavern's camp and Wilder's camp. It's not gone to burst bids. He revealed exclusively on our channel the fight is a goer. The deal is done, and all the case now is for where and when. He's hoping the fight will be done by July. If not by July, the latest by September. So that fight is on. I know a lot of people are not happy about the fight, but it's going to happen. So let's get this fight over and done with. Personal thoughts. I should do a video on it, but personal thoughts off the top of my head. First and foremost, Bermain Stavern needs to. I would like to see him more active. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Regardless of the Povetkin situation, I think Bermain should have taken a fight in between, even if it was against a complete nobody. Taking a fight knocks the ring rust off. But Bermain's his own man. He knows, he feels that he was inactive again before the Areola fight. He'll be okay. But he's getting older. So Bermain's his own man. And I love the brother. But at the end of the day, I still think he should be more active. B. If it is the case that Bermain has... if it is the case that Bermain there was something wrong with Bermain, whether it be he was drugged or there was some other things going on, then he will be in better shape and, will put on a much better performance. Does a much better performance by Bermain Stavern beat 2017's Deontay Wilder? Well, based on Deontay Wilder's last fight against Joe Washington, for the first 4 rounds, nothing happened. And then he hit Washington with a right hand, and then that was that. How good is that right hand? Well, he knocked Washington down. But Deontay Wilder's boxing skills haven't improved, but he has got a phenomenal right hand. If Stavern can take the right hand away from Deontay Wilder, the only guy who's fallen over to a left hook has been Malik Scott, and even that fight was a question mark. If Stavern can some way take away the right hand of Wilder, then we've got a fight. And if Stavern can cause the upset, which it would be to a lot of people, if Stavern wants to cause the upset, that would upset the heavyweight division quite a bit. Because Wilder wouldn't be champion no more, Stavern would be champion, and then would we be looking at Stavern Wilder 3? Would fans want to see that? That's the question I've had to ask. The question on that. So, you know, the other question is, I know the whole thing about the WBC, but that's the WBC's fault, because they should never, when Povetkin got caught, they should never have mandated the fight for Povetkin to fight Stavern. If Povetkin had not been mandated to fight Stavern, then Stavern would have probably had to be forced to fight someone like Ortiz. Povetkin was there. The WBC installed Povetkin as their number one contender. If Ortiz was their number one contender, or Pulev was the number one contender, or Dillian White, or whoever was their number one contender, then Stavern would have had to fight somebody else and not jump the queue, as people are saying. Povetkin was number one contender. He was number two. He got stalled, moved into number one position. Now he's mandatory for the championship. That's it. And Deontay Wilder's had 5 voluntary defenses. So I don't think you can get any more fairer than that. I know a lot of people disgruntled, but get over it. The fight's going to happen. That's it. How many fights have there been out there that we never want to see? I didn't want to see Andre Berta versus Porter. I didn't want to see Chavez versus Canelo. I didn't want to see that. Right? So what? I didn't want to see Golovkin versus bloody Dominic Wade. But hey, we had to see it, didn't we? So let's just get over it. It's on. Yeah, here we go. I know you're good. You're a good relationship with Stavern, but he's had a miracle being mandatory when he has not had one fight in 2 years, and that was a journeyman. Well, okay, let's talk about Fraser Quendo. Let's talk about Shannon Briggs. They're fighting for the WBA title. When's the last time those two guys fought a top 10 opponent? Let's talk about Callum Smith. When's the last time he fought somebody in the top 10? We could go on and on. So the fight, there are a lot of fights in boxing that are getting made, and one way or the other, after Wilder gets through this fight, should he get for this fight? And if he knocks out Stavern, he's done something he didn't do beforehand, so that's good. If Stavern knocks out Wilder, then what happens then? You know, so I know a lot of people would, and imagine Stavern did win the heavyweight championship of the world. You know, that would be, you know, it'd be great work for us, great for the channel. We'd have the WBC champion on tap. So that'd be great. So I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the fight anyway. I think it's a good fight. I really do. I didn't think the first fight was a bad fight. I thought the press conference was amazing. It was really good for the first. It was one of the best press conferences of the year. And I can assure you, the second press conference, this rematch fight is going to be an amazing fight. And the one thing you can be certain of, if Stavern regains the WBC championship, he'll fight the best guys out there. And remember, the reason why you've got Wilder today as champion is because Stavern took the fight against Wilder as his voluntary, not his mandatory. Wilder was not his mandatory, it was his voluntary. People forget things like that. So, and a lot of people talk about Wilder this, Wilder that, Wilder this. He's done well, but 5 voluntaries? Come on, man. Let's see now. I really hope Stavern wins too, but let's wait and see what happens. Leon Jones says, hoping Stavern wins, though, just doesn't deserve it personally for me. Yeah, I can understand it. But again, don't blame Stavern for that. Blame the WBC. The WBC, how many Povetkin fans have we got across the channel? How many Povetkin fans? Everyone was behind Povetkin, right? It's Povetkin's fault. If Povetkin didn't pop his pills or do his PD shit, which he did, and get caught with it, right? And get caught more than one time or 3 times. The guy got caught twice or 3 times. If Povetkin didn't get caught, then you had Stavern, Povetkin, the fight people would like to have seen, and then whoever the winner was naturally would have fought Wilder. But the WBC backed Povetkin when he should have been out well before that fight was made. So my point is, blame the WBC for, don't blame Stavern, blame WBC, because if the WBC had got their shit together, Povetkin would have been banned from boxing or would have been taken out of the ratings. Luis Ortiz, Dillian White, Kubrat Pulev. Who else was in that WBC ratings at the time? Maybe Bright Jones. I don't know. Whoever was in the WBC top 5, one of those guys, Stavell would have been installed as #1 contender, but then he would have had to fight the next guy. Would have been probably Luis Ortiz. So Luis Ortiz and Stavell would have fought. Do you get my point now? Luis Ortiz and Stavell would have fought, and this would have quashed all this stuff because the winner would have gone and fought Wilder. But blame the WBC for not getting this shit together. Don't blame Bermain Stavern, because it wasn't Stavern's fault. Stavern can only move on the basis of what Mauricio Sullivan puts out. Right. Sullivan Barrera for Joe Smith announced July 15th. What's going on for my bet? Are you serious about this July 15th thing? But Joe Smith versus Barrera is a good fight. Good fight. I like Joe Smith. I think Joe Smith's a better fighter than people give him credit for. Not a big Sullivan Barrera fan. Good fight. Good fight, though. As for Dillian Whyte, Stavern believes if Dillian Whyte can use his better, more athletic ability, he can beat Marisvac. He's got a tough fight in his hands because Whyte's not a world-class puncher. He's got a tough fight in his hands there. And if he beats him, I think it's a good fight. Why is Whyte being mentioned at world level when he's only British level? Interesting. Rather see Ortiz or Pulev or Whyte fight Wilder, of course. Wilder doesn't want to fight Stavern again. He knows Stavern was in horrible condition the first time, and he has something to lose this time. He's the favorite. He's the favorite, of course. Of course, I think it's an interesting fight. So there's some other news that's come out today, which has been interesting. I've got to pull up. Let me pull it out for you. Evander Holyfield, the former heavyweight, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, he's going to stage a card on June the 24th. I think he's going to have CBS Sports backing it. So yeah, let's see here. I'm really happy for Evander, actually. And four-time heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield and his company, Real Deal Sports and Entertainment, announced that he will kick off his Real Deal Championship Boxing Series on Saturday, June 24th at Freedom in Louisville, Kentucky, in partnership with locally based top-notch boxing and Kentucky venues. So the undercard of Freedom Hall will consist of 3 amateur and 8 professional bouts, including local boxers, participants, and in the main event, undercard will announce within the next 10 days. The first installment of the Real Deal Championship Boxing Series on June 12th will be branded as Evander's Tribute to Ali. That will air live on CBS Sports at 10 p.m. East Standard Time. The fight card will be part of a locally based I Am Ali Festival, which is a 6-week celebration of the 1-year anniversary of Muhammad Ali's passing and its global impact and legacy. So Evander says, I'm proud to bring the inaugural event for the Real Deal Championship Boxing Series to Louisville, Kentucky, and I am especially pleased to have it in place during the I Am Ali Festival. I share many of the same principles as Ali, and this event allows me to pay tribute to his legacy. Ali was an inspiration to me as I started my professional boxing career. The integrity and sportsmanship that this event brings to boxing is one way I can give back to fighters to help them succeed both in the ring and in life. So fantastic to have Evander Holyfield in the sport of boxing, now promoting boxing and having a boxing event. So that's beautiful news as well. Callum Smith is the next Carl Froch, says Joe Gallagher. Yeah. Is anybody fighting Darrell? When's that Darrell fight going to get announced, by the way? Sunday card? Sunday card? Yeah, let me see. Is that a Sunday card? I'm reading information. It probably is a Sunday. Let me check. June 24th. Is that a Sunday? I don't know. Is it a Sunday? $24th. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. Let's see. Yeah, Darrell will be. Thought Ward Kovalev was on the 23rd, but it's on the 17th. Yeah, I've got Ward all day long against Kovalev in the rematch. That's something I'll have to do a breakdown video on. Right. Let's see what else I can pull up. Let's see if there are any other stories I can pull up and talk about very quickly before I end today. Is there any stories of interest? Talk about Lucas Matisse. Crawford wants unification bout with Ndogo. But for me, the fight that I think is going to happen is Crawford Pacquiao's been there for ages. I don't know. They're probably waiting until Pacquiao's got absolutely nothing left and then feed him to Crawford. I've always believed that. So, yeah, I think that's about it for now. Questions to ask, obviously. Now we've got a full sports channel now. So boxing, cricket, football, rugby, whatever. We'll try and get the stars on the channel. We'll try and get your interviews, your live events, your Q&As with other fighters, other sports stars, all here on this channel. So if there's any suggestions, put them up. And I'll be reading the comments of your suggestions and stuff. I think that's about it for me. Sorry, maybe already discussed what thoughts that perhaps Fury and Hennessy have split. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't think Team Fury would split with Hennessy. I really don't think so. I think they're really tight knit bunch, Hennessy and Fury. I don't know about that. I think that's about it for me. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let other people know that this is where all the boxing is going to be from now on and all the sports. If you've got any suggestions, please make them. I'll be trying to reach out to my cousin Jermaine to see if I can get an interview with him. I definitely want to get an interview with him before his career ends. And now we've got some sports that we can get some interviews and we can start covering some more sports events. Right. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. This is the Bwtm Sports Channel. Good night. Take care.